Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rose Writes and I write and narrate Miraculous Ladybug fan fiction. Thank you so much to Part-Time Pixie on Instagram for their beautiful artwork. I just love it so much, and if you love it too, you can find their social medias below. Hawkmoth will be voiced by Cameron and I will be voicing Ladybug, Cat Noir, and doing the narration. If you missed Chapter 1, it will also be in the description box. Now then, please enjoy Lost in the Memories, Chapter 2, Cat Noir's Point of View. Mother? Cat Noir staggered from the glass elevator, falling to his knees in front of the casket. The woman had a small smile displayed on her face, eyes closed, looking like a life-sized doll. Ladybug joined him on the floor, placing an arm around his shoulders, squeezing tightly. Tears fell from Cat's eyes, leaving the ground wet. No, this can't be happening. His mother disappeared years ago, but this was unmistakably Emily Agreste. Was she dead? Sleeping? In a coma? Some mixture of the three? It was impossible to tell. Why was this happening? Cat silently pleaded with the powers that be. His family had been through so much. Why couldn't life give him a break?
Lovely, isn't she?
A sinister voice came from behind. The superheroes jerked their heads back, their eyes drifting from the floor up to the villain's evil smirk. He let out a cackle, sending a chill down Cat's spine.
Hello, son.
Why? Why are you doing this? Cat Noir bellowed, sending an echo around the basement of the Agreste fortress. As angry as he was, as betrayed as he felt, he had to keep it together. He couldn't afford to lose his grip now or he would be doomed. He couldn't fall prey to his emotions. Not now. Not until after this is over.
Don't you want to see your mother again, Adrian?
Hawkmoth asked, a conniving tone, a despicable voice as smooth as butter. Cat Noir held his ground, staff out ready for battle. His posture relaxed a bit at this question. Of course I do, but not like this. Not in a way that destroys the world. You know the risk.
Then you don't love her like I do.
Hawkmoth hissed.
If you did, you'd do anything to bring her back. That's what I'm trying to do. Insolent child. You could save her with one simple gesture.
Hawkmoth held his hand out, beckoning for the Miraculous, but Cat Noir stood unmoving. Heat rose to Cat's cheeks, anger mixed with sadness. He felt a small hand placed on his back to calm him. His partner stood idly, having been quiet through this exchange. Be careful, she whispered. Don't let your guard down. We can't be too careful. Cat nodded slightly, eyes glued to his father. Cat Noir continued to stand stationary, eyes fixed on the unrecognizable glare of his father. A man who'd never been there for him. A man who berated him whenever possible. A man who wanted to destroy the world for a hopeless dream. Hawkmoth's hand fell back to his staff.
I see. That's the way it is. I attempted to resolve this peacefully, but you would not comply. I guess we'll have to do this the hard way.
His eyes narrowed, then in one swift motion he turned over his palm to reveal a small keychain.
Dusu Nuru Double Metamorphosis!
Hawkmoth became covered in a poisonous purple film from head to toe, shrouded in a dull light. Emerging was Shadow Moth, who appeared only slightly different, and smiled like he had already won.
Sentient wings, I give you life.
Dark purple wings sprouted on his back simultaneously as he let out another cackle. The wings extended far past his arm span, looking more similar to that of bat wings. Don't be so cocky. You've been trying to defeat us for years and haven't come close. How do you know this will be any different? Ladybug crossed her arms, looking smug. Cat couldn't fathom looking so self-assured. Even as he stood as a superhero, he felt like that same helpless child that just wanted his mother to tell him things would be okay. Tears stung his eyes, threatening to fall, but he wouldn't allow his father. No, Shadow Moth, the satisfaction of seeing him cry. Shadow Moth's eyes switched between Cat Noir and Ladybug, observing Cat's protective stance. He stood firmly in front of Ladybug. A toothy smile spread across Shadow Moth's face, speaking with a voice full of malice.
Fortunately for me, I have figured out Cat Noir's weakness.
Shadow Moth's beady eyes landed on the spotted superheroine. Before either hero had a chance to respond, with the help of his wings, he dashed forward, sidestepping Cat Noir, knocking Ladybug to the ground. She immediately got up while throwing her yo-yo, which wrapped around a wing, pulling her into the air. "Ladybug!" Cat yelled, watching his partner fly attached to Shadow Moth's wing. He extended his staff, colliding with Ladybug as she dangled. The force from the impact was enough to release her yo-yo, slinging the both of them into the metal wall of the basement. A loud cling echoed around the room, leaving a sizable dent. When the two gathered their bearings, they stared down the villain who made their descent.
You aren't looking so good. Are you ready to surrender?
"Never!" Cat blurted out. "You took advantage of me when I couldn't defend myself. You hurt me, and you don't even care. And now, I'm strong and I won't let you hurt anyone ever again." Cat pointed his staff forward, daring his father to come any closer. "Lucky charm!" Ladybug threw her yo-yo up, only for the last thing she expected to fall from the sky. The miracle box. Their eyes widened in shock. Cat saw the petrified expression in her eyes, and he knew what that meant. She saw no way to use this lucky charm. Cat's mind started racing. There are so many things this might mean. She breathed in deeply, a determined look on her face. "Both of your miraculous belong in this box." She held the miracle box in Shadow Moth's direction. "I know it. You know it. The universe knows it."
Foolish girl.
He laughed, his tone disconcerting. Once again he dashed forward, pinning Ladybug to the wall, an arm across her throat. The box fell from her hands, far from her grasp, out of sight. Despite the pressure on her neck, she desperately tried to reach the miracle box. "Ladybug! Get away from her!" Cat struggled, attempting to pull Shadow Moth off of his lady, but was met in the chest with an elbow. He flew backward several feet. "No, Cat!" she said, struggling against the force of Shadow Moth. "The box!" Cat's eyes flitted from her to the ground, but the miracle box was nowhere to be found.
Who are you really, Ladybug?
Shadow Moth chortled.
Let's find out.
She kicked to no avail, still held by her throat. A small burst of light flickered as her transformation slowly started to fade. "No!" Ladybug cried, but her scream was muffled by Shadow Moth's guffaw. Cat hadn't been fast enough. He lunged, but Shadow Moth already cast Ladybug, now transformed Marinette, across the room. Her back hit the glass window that overlooked the garden, which shattered under the shock. Without the suit, nothing could protect her. She rolled a few times, glass particles in her hair, blood trickling out onto the floor. Cat hesitated, admittedly longer than he should have. He shook his head back and forth, the tears he tried so hard to hide finally cascading down his cheeks. "Marinette, no! Please, wake up, please!" Cat Noir screamed in her ear.
It's a shame, really. Marinette was a nice girl. And to think this could have been avoided by handing over your Mirculous.
As the estranged father spoke, Cat Noir refused to turn.
In a way, you killed her, didn't you?
Shadow Moth maliciously twirled the Ladybug Mirculous in his hands. Cat's heartbeat spiked as he turned to face the terror of Paris, intending to end his reign of evil right there. "Cataclysm!" Cat's voice echoed across the high beams of the ceiling. He charged full force at his father, thoughts tumbling around in his brain, but no matter what, Marinette had to be okay. She had to be. He couldn't imagine a life without her. He held a hand hovering over his father's chest.
What are you going to do with that, son? You're the good guy, remember?
Shadow Moth snarled. Deadpanned, Cat held up his hand that glowed black. "This Without waiting, he placed his cataclysm hand on Shadow Moth's chest. He felt no sorrow, no remorse, only hatred and feelings of disdain. Shadow Moth fell to the floor, doubled over in pain. I told you that you wouldn't be hurting anyone else ever again. Cat Noir kneeled down to be at eye level with him. Shadow Moth opened his mouth, but no words escaped, just pain in his face. I'll take these, Cat whispered, taking the Ladybug earrings from him along with the butterfly and peacock Mirculous, leaving Gabriel Agreste on the floor unconscious. He rushed back to Marinette's side, taking her hand after placing the earrings back in her ears. A frightened Tiki emerged to nuzzle her owner's cheek. Marinette's eyes fluttered open, and she was just barely breathing. Cat? She rasped. I'm right here, milady. I'm always going to be right beside you. I love you. Marinette gasped for breath, squeezing Cat's hand with next to no pressure. I'm sorry, Cat. I don't know how much longer I have. Her eyes closed once more, chest rising and falling paradoxically. Marinette, we have to get you to the hospital. Cat scooped her up in his arms, holding her tightly. This was all his fault. He allowed himself to be distracted, and now Marinette paid the price for his mistakes. He extended his staff, ready to take off through the fragmented window. Wait. Marinette spoke, her voice weak, eyes still closed. I have to say something because I don't know what will happen. Marinette, please, me first. Cat, I love you, more than anything. And that's why I, Marinette Dupain-Chang, named Cat Noir the new guardian of the miraculous. Marinette, no! But it was too late. A blinding flash of pink and red surrounded Marinette. The miracle box rose from below the bridge where it had been hiding. It spun in circles, light being emitted from each opening where the magic jewels were stored. Tiki's face was one of distress as the earring sucked her up and flew into the miracle box. The box morphed from its spherical shape into a cube, its black and red color replaced with a sleek gray and black exterior. When the light subsided, he was left with an unfamiliar miracle box and a lifeless Marinette. He would worry about this guardian stuff later and what that really meant. His sole focus was Marinette. He had to get her to the hospital, and fast. For now, he wouldn't think about the future, about when she woke up. About how, when she did, he wouldn't even be a memory. Thank you so much for listening. If you liked what you heard, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, leave a comment for the algorithm. Have a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and stay miraculous.